Welcome to another episode of Goin Hot. Today, we'll be shooting the Sig Sauer 1911 in stainless steel. Goin Hot! Well, here we are down at Range 1, and today we'll be taking a look at the Winchester White Box 230 grain jacketed hollow point. And here we'll let you see what the round looks like. That's what we're going to be shooting today at that rutabaga. And to be quite honest with you, the rutabaga selection is getting pretty slim. They're getting pretty small. So I think next week, yeah, we're going to have to get something else. I'll see if I can hit this. I'll endeavor to. Yeah, it's anybody's guess whether I can or not. We'll kind of get it wrapped up in the blue jeans so I can tell how small it is. I get a better chance of hitting it, I think. So let's give it a shot. Let's go hot. Going hot. Well, there's where we hit the water bottle. Here's where it went in the rutabaga. Here's where it came out. And there's where it hit the rutabaga. So a little low maybe, but we hit it dead center. Let's take a look at it and see if we can get the round. Went in on the lower portion of this bottle, came out on the backside corner and hit this bottle, but did not break it. Yeah, we saved a bottle of water at any rate. So we went into two bottles, but I'm going to call it more as one because that rutabaga was a lot smaller than the traditional ones we've been using. I'd say it was half the distance of a rutabaga, half the size, so half the amount of penetration required to get through that rutabaga, but who knows? It was also frozen, which the ones in the past have been part of them not frozen, part of them frozen. So, but here we are with the expansion. Let's go back to the shop. We'll talk about it. Well, here we are back in the shop, and I'm glad we are. It's 15 degrees outside, which is, yeah, it's not very cold for here. It quite often in the winter we'll get as low as 35 degrees below zero. So I don't know why I'm having such a problem this year getting used to the cold, but it seemed cold to me out there today. It seemed cold to me all week long. Just something that I just haven't gotten into this winter for some reason. This is the firearm we're shooting today. We were using this in our test, the Sig 1911 stainless full size with a 5-inch barrel. It has fixed Novak style sights that are tritium, has an elongated combat hammer that's got a matching beaver tail to go with it, where the beaver tail is scooped out to allow that hammer to recess in it when it's cocked. It's not an ambidextrous safety, it's just got the safety on one side. Typical Sig firearms, it has that high profile on that slide, and it has an external extractor on these 1911s by Sig. We were shooting the Winchester White Box jacketed hollow point, and according to the box here and a 5-inch barrel, it's coming out at 880 feet per second. Here's the round we were shooting. Let's get a good look at that. And here's the round after it was shot. Expanded very nicely to 11/16 of an inch. A little bit less than that plus P Hornady round we did a few weeks ago, That was a full 3/4 of an inch, so it didn't expand quite as much as that, but a nice, clean, good expansion. A little bit of a crater in the center. No real pedaling on the bullet itself or the lead, but it did pedal back on the jacket, as you can see. Really a nice job of expansion on a very inexpensive defensive ammo. And people make jokes about the white box all the time and carrying them for that type of purpose, but I don't know. It looks pretty effective to me. It looks like it would get the job done, says I. There's a lot of defensive ammo that's more expensive, and you'll only get 20 rounds in a box versus this 50 rounds, so something to think about. Now, the rutabaga I was using today was considerably smaller than the ones we have in the past. So because of that, I decided to take another rutabaga that had a large hunk of dirt on it, on the backside that I had rejected. And I'm talking about a big piece of dirt. It was at least 5 inches deep. And I shot into that, and the result of that was almost identical expansion, really. It lodged in the dirt, though, and never made it to the water bottle. It lodged in about 2.5 inches into that frozen clump of dirt. And that's why I didn't use that. I didn't feel that was comparable to our other tests. This one, not so comparable either, because that rutabaga was so small. We went into 2 water bottles after it left the rutabaga. So I'm saying, really, you can say it's a solid 1 water bottle. I'm not so sure about the second because our rutabaga was so small in comparison to the other tests. Now, of course, I'm not really using the water bottles to do anything other than compare each round, kind of for fun. The real reason I'm doing all this is just to look at expansion on that round, to whether it really expands well or not. And here I say it did a good job. It's not quite as wide as that Plus P Hornady, or maybe even the PDX. That too was at 3/4 of an inch, but pretty darn close. It's only a 1/16 of an inch less. Still got 230 grain bullet and that 880 feet per second. So that energy displacement into that rutabaga is still pretty impressive. I think it would get the job done. Well, there you go, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week to another Going Hot. I'm going to leave you with a little footage of me shooting this other round that went into the dirt. I'll let you see that, where it never penetrated the water bottle. Thanks again for tuning in. You can see it's kind of dirty. There's the round in question. Well, that ends another episode of Going Hot. Thanks for tuning in this week. Till next time, for Mr. Holster and Jack, go out and stay safe.